Everyone, it's Deb, and today we're going to do a little bit of balance and gait work. And we're going to start with a little bit of weight shift, because in gait you have to be able to shift your weight right to left, front to back. So just in standing, widen your feet just a little beyond hip joint, and I just want you to rock side to side. And notice what your torso is doing. You want to make sure that there's no rotation, no leaning. So tilt your chest up, kind of put your shoulder blades in your back pockets, and you're just going to go side to side. Notice, is it easier to go one side than the other? And how easy is it to transition from one side to the other? That will also affect your gait, because you have to be able to transition from right to left. So once you've done that, then what we're going to do is we're going to open up the hips, and we are going to go to a lunge position. Now, when you go to the lunge position, what's really important is the position of the feet. And the reason I say that is because if the foot is turned, so is the hips. You want to stay out of rotation. So that back foot in particular needs to line up with the hip joint, not over here somewhere, but in line with the hip joint, as wide as your body will allow. That front foot, the weight needs to be in the heel. So if you feel like your weight's here and you got a short gait, just adjust your back foot a little bit and open up the hip. Honestly, for some of you, just staying in this position is going to be a challenge enough in itself, and that's perfectly fine. You want that back leg to be straight. A lot of you have the tendency to, when you're here, to be in a bent knee position. What you're missing is that quad engagement, and then you also feel that in the heel, Achilles, and the gastroc. So if this is a challenge for you, start there, because it's a process, and just because you can't do it doesn't mean we can't, get some progress to get there, because your gait is important. All right, feet are forward, you're in a lunge position, torso is upright. If you need a chair, counter, whatever, that's perfectly fine. Try not to death grip it. Make the muscles in the torso, in the core, do the job to hold you there, rather than death gripping the chair or the counter or whatever you've got. So what you're going to do is you're going to get in that upright position, and then what you're going to do, what I call a balanced post squat. So all you're going to do is drop down a little bit, not forward, down, and then you're going to come right back up. Now start small. You want to keep the knee over the foot and ankle. Make sure your knee doesn't go here. You should feel equal weight distribution on the bottom of that foot. You're going to drop down, bring it up, drop down, and bring it up. And what you're going to start to feel, and again, there's not a right or wrong, depends on what your patterns are, is you're going to feel that quad working. So you're strengthening that quad, which is going to help you stand, which is going to help you in your gait, which is going to give you more endurance. And then the other thing that you're probably going to feel is that hip opening up. Keep the back leg straight. Do not bend at the knee. Make sure you stay in an upright position, and you want that whole chain from the hip to the foot to work as a unit. As soon as you bend the knee, you lose that. You may feel a little stretch in your hamstring. That's perfectly fine. The further down you go, the stronger you're going to get. When you come back up, straighten that leg without locking, and you're going to bend. And again, as far as repetition, you need to do what works for you. So in other words, do it until it gets hard, and then do at least 3 or 4 more, so that you gain endurance and gain a little strength. So you're going to drop down. This is called a balanced post squat. And you're going to notice that the more you do, the more things stretch out. But again, that front leg is probably going to be the one that gets fatigued the most. So you're clearly going to do that on both sides, all right? And then the next thing you're going to do is we're going to go step by step. Basically what you do in gait. This time I'm going to put the right foot in front, and this one is back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that balanced post squat, and then I'm going to push off, all right? If you want to adjust your chair or whatever, you can, but just make sure if you need to, you can still hold on. So you keep the chest up, don't lean. So I'm going to drop down, and then I'm going to push off. Now, when I push off, notice my back foot. It's facing down, my hip is open. And I'm going to drop it down, and I'm going to push it off. because a lot of you tend to shuffle. We've got to be able to push off those feet and get into those glutes and make them fire, all right? So you're just gonna drop down. Again, that's where we started, and then you're gonna push off. Now, if you want a little challenge on your balance, try to hold that. Foot has to face down. You're gonna push off, keep the chest up. That'll be a huge help. Drop down, push up, drop down, and push up. And again, you're gonna do that on both sides. You're gonna, again, probably still feel it in the quad. For a lot of you, most of you, that's gonna also be a huge balance challenge. That's fine. If you remember to keep your shoulders over your hips, keep your paraspinals engaged, everything upright and tight and shoulders open, it'll help you a lot with regard to your balance. So step 4, after we do that, we're gonna move that back foot. Instead of just pushing off, we're gonna start to move it. Now, if that, and I don't recommend that you move on until you feel comfortable with that last step. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna literally push off and bring it forward. Right now, I want you to just place that foot, the toe, so you're really loading onto that, in this case, left side, and then you're gonna bring it back. By bringing it back like that, you're also engaging those glutes, which are supposed to be one of the strongest muscles in the body. And then you're gonna bring it up. Same side, bring it back, and then bring it up, and just tap, and bring it back. And again, pay close attention to that back foot, that it faces forward, and then it's in line with the hip, and not crossed over too wide. And you're gonna tap. If you can, I would say add the arm to that, chest up, because you're using that contralateral pattern, right leg, left arm. You're gonna drop it back, and you're gonna tap. And you're gonna drop it back, and you're gonna tap. And again, you're gonna do that on both sides. The core, making sure that you're not leaning forward sideways, is really important. Keep that chest up and the chin up. You're gonna drop back, and you're gonna bring it up. Now, once that gets easier, we're gonna make it even a little bit more challenging. All right? So you're gonna be in that lunge position. You've done the balance post squats, you've done the tap, and now when you push off, this time we're literally gonna lift that leg up, and then we're gonna drop it back. Now we're really working on that contralateral pattern and your balance. Keep the shoulders in line with the hips, and then you're gonna drop it back in line with the hips. So now you're working appropriately those hip flexors by lifting that knee, which a lot of you have trouble with, especially because of the rotation. And again, always periodically check the position of that back foot. You're gonna lift and drop it back. Keep this really tight on the back side, upper mid-back muscles, chest up, chin up, and lift. Keep this foot, lower leg in line with the thigh and the hip, because a lot of you will want to cross over. Make sure it lines up accordingly. And you're here, and you're gonna lift. And you're probably gonna feel that hip on, in this case, the left side, and the quad start to get fatigued. That's loading. That's just really working on stability in that opposite side, even though it looks like you're really working the right, which you are. And you're gonna push off and bring it back. So again, it's not about specific numbers. Form follows function. Make sure you have it correct before you move on to the next step. That'll be a huge challenge for a lot of you, but that's okay. That's how you get stronger. So good luck with that, and we'll see you soon.